Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is your friendly neighborhood Chaos here with your buddy SexyDreamPirate.
What's up?
Today was league night, and I gotta say the turnout was a lot more than what we've recently had. For the most part, me and Pirate here were actually teaching. And actually, believe it or not, the majority of them was what Wizards wanted the original target audience to be. I think the oldest person we had was 14.
14, yeah.
Oldest person we had was 14. All the other ones were just little shits. But what we're doing for you guys here, we're doing another review. We're trying to go through all 5 civilizations. So far, we've brought you light, we've brought you water, we've brought you darkness, and now today we're going to bring you the fire civilization.
These are Evo Fury cards, by the way, guys. Evo Fury.
What he said. All right, and if this is for some reason the first video you've seen by us, how we do our reviews are we do them on a 1 to 5 star basis. 1 star being complete, totally fucking useless, and 5 stars being an absolute necessary staple for any deck, or just complete pure awesomeness. All right, without further ado, we'll jump right into it. Alright, so, did I forget anything?
I think you covered.
Alright. Alright, so, first up, what we have is the Jet Flame Bodyguard. He's a 1 for 3,000 Skirmisher Dracon. Alright, all honestly, I've ran fire in my decks, I think, about 3 times now. The first time I ran a fire, I was running like a fire, nature, water, aggro. I kind of scrapped it because it wasn't really all that fun anymore. But that and I got my ass kicked with it constantly. And this was before Fury came out, so I didn't have him. But I can also tell you if I had him then, I definitely have him in there. Right now I'm running, as you guys might have already seen, my Fire Dark Rush Destruction. I'm calling it Destruction as well because that damn thing just...
Destruction, shenanigans everywhere.
Everything.
It's brutal.
But this guy, for me, for any fire deck, whether you're running an Evo-based deck or if you're running an aggro, any sort of rush that's involving fire, I think this guy is an absolute necessary staple. And for that, I'd give him easily 4 stars. In some ways, I'd like to go to 5, but I don't think I can, simply because he's bound by the Skirmisher law. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because 9 times out of 10, people will ignore the Jet Flame Bodyguard, unless they know you're running him for Evo bait, which is a very good use. I mean, fuck, turn 4, boom, him, Cyber Laser. Or Laser Arm. I always get them fucking mixed up. But for me, this guy's is 4 stars.
I'm going to have to go 4 stars as well for the Jet Flame Bodyguard. As the Chaos said, it's excellent Evo bait. You know, even turn 1 dropping him in, turn 2, you know, going for a Moonhowl or something like that, and then turn 3 evolving into the Laser Arm works really well. So it's excellent Evo bait there. I mean, even if you just need to put some more field presence on, having this guy down will keep them from swinging with Seneschal, Razorhide, Gigastand, any of those. So it's a good card overall. It gives really good field presence, really good Evo. It can work in an aggro. It can work in... I haven't seen this card going in any control, but definitely good aggro card and good Evo or Rush cards. So I'm going to give 4 stars as well for Jet Flame Bodyguard.
Alright. The next up after him, we have another Dracon. Majority of these are either going to be Dracons or Doom Geckos. Some of them are going to be Armored Dragons, but... Whoopsies.
I'll be
Thank you. But what we have here is a little guy called Cliff Cutter. He is 2 for 1,000 with a 2,000 bump if there's an Evo on the field. Alright, obviously this guy would be tied into an Evo deck. With that being said, whether it be a monochrome Evo deck or if you're running fire, like I am in my fire and darkness, but I don't use Cliff Cutter. That's just because I don't really rely on my Evos that much to do the shit for me. I actually mostly rely on my destruction spells to get shit cleared out of the way so I can swing. But for me, Cliff Cutter would be rated as 3 stars, simply because I don't use them, and I don't think it's absolutely necessary. But I think a very strong argument can be made for him to be 4 stars. That's pretty much all I got to say on that part about him.
I'm going to say Cliff Cutter 3 stars as well. I run Cliff Cutter in my Fire Nature Rush deck, and the main reason I run him is for Evo bait. I don't actually run him that much to get the bump off of him. He's pretty much an Aqua Soldier going in. The main reason that I play him is because I run 3 laser arm, and I wanted to increase my Evo to bait ratio. So in that sense, you know, if you're running him to be bait, he works out really well, because even if you can't get him in on turn 2, for 5 mana, turn 5, you can still, you know, drop him in and evolve him. He's really cheap Evo bait, really good for that. And, you know, there's sometimes that my hand, you know, just gets filled with Dracons, and it's so much better to evolve a Weaponsmith, or, you know, turn 1, Jet Flame Bodyguard, turn 2, Cliff Cutter, turn 3, Laser Arm on the Jet Flame, so now I'm sitting with a 2 for 3. So you can make this card work for you if you're in a, you know, if you're running an Evo heavy deck, or if you're using it for bait. But if you're not running a lot of Evos, or you're not running the Dracon Evolution family, then you're pretty much dropping an Aqua Soldier. So overall, it has its uses, but I'm going to rate Cliff Cutter as 3 stars.
You're good. Alright, next up we have is a Dune Gecko. I've actually been looking at this guy, adding him into my deck. I just don't know how the practice would work. But this man is called the Lava Leaper. He is 2 for 1,000. His nifty little thing is that he can't be attacked by any creatures that are batting at 3,000 or less, making him pretty much a non-target for most tap 2s out there.
Tap 2, tap 3.
Tap 2, tap 3, and even some tap 4s. So, that right there makes him pretty good. If it couldn't be attacked or blocked, that'd be really nice. But, I've been thinking about replacing possibly Dracon Weaponsmith with him, simply because shits and giggles, basically. But, seeing as how I haven't really gotten much practice with this guy, I can't really say that, I can really give him a fair rating. But, I mean, the effect of him seems pretty spot on, so right then and there I'd have to go for 3 stars just going. I think I could see where someone would rate him as 4 stars, simply because if someone's running a rush deck, then he's going to be untouchable for a good part of it. So, but I think I'm just going to have to stick with 3 stars until I try him out a bit and get the feel for him. I don't want to be too fair, but I don't want to be too giving.
Lava Leaper for me, you know, the 2 for 1 is basically, as I said, same with Cliff Cutter, dropping an Aqua Soldier, only there's no real way to improve it. I can think of quite a few turn 2 drops that I'd rather put in. Now, the effect, don't get me wrong, is extremely useful, the whole not being attacked by anything 3,000 or less, because that pretty much guarantees he's going to be in there for a couple turns. But the really bad part about this card is it can't be attacked. It doesn't say anything about being blocked. This guy can be blocked and killed by Cyber Sprite, by Thunder Cruiser.
Cyber Sprite's batting for 2.
Yeah. There's a lot of cards that this guy, he can't get over anything. So,
he can get over me.
Yeah, he's good. He is good in, like, a rush mirror, and that's pretty much it. Any blocker can get rid of him. I think the main reason they gave him this effect is so he'll be around a few turns longer than normal, so there'll be Evo bait for Big Hissy. But, it does have its niche. It's good in a rush, but I'm going to have to say 2 stars. It's just, the power is too low on it. Maybe if it was 3 for 2,000, couldn't be attacked by anything 4,000 or less, it'd be better. but at 1,000 power, it's just too small. It can't get over any blockers at all. So, I mean, you've got 3 civs out there running blockers, 2 civs that don't, and, you know, I'm going to say 2 stars. It's good in a rush mirror, but that's just about it.
Alright, after that little guy, we have Jet Thrust Darter. He is 3 for 1,000 with fast attack. Alright, this guy is a pretty damn good staple in any sort of fire deck, just because the fast attack mechanism is very effective. Now, granted, as soon as you sell him on the field and get that fast attack, he's nothing more than an Aqua Soldier. That's a little bit more expensive, but the whole point of Jet Thrust and things with fast attack is to help you get that final hit in, so that you can just take the game. So, I've never been a big fan of him. If I'm wanting fast attack, I'll just get Gilliflame and Trust and everything else, either to be heavy enough to hit it back or sturdy enough to take a hit when it's blocking. But granted, Jet Thrust has been a game winner many times over. So I think for that, it's only fair to give Jet Thrust Darter a 4-star rating.
I actually run Jet Thrust Darter in my Fire Nature Rush. I started out running 3, and then I swapped one out for a Heal-a-Flame, pulled one in an opening. But I have to agree with the Chaos on some of his points. Heal-a-Flame is a much better fast attacker, especially with the whole bouncing back in your hand. It's a lot easier to keep him safe. And it is, you know, only 1,000 power, so anything except for Megris can kill it. It's very easily stopped by blockers. He's a good turn 4, 5, 6 drop to swing for game or swing for that last shield, especially in a rush mirror. I'm actually going to go a bit lower on my rating. I'm going to say Jet Thrust is actually 3 stars. And, I mean, I run him, and he has given me the game from time to time. But there's no place for this card in an aggro deck, I don't think. I mean, if you're running aggro and you're having to depend on a fast attacker to get game, that's kind of a problem. But, you know, for Rush, he's alright, so I'm going to say 3 stars. There's a lot of blockers out there that get rid of him, and on turn 3, Heat Seekers is a little bit better to play, or, you know, you can play something else and wait for that turn 4 Heal-a-Flame. So 3 stars, Jet Thrust Darter.
Okay. After him, we got our first Evo of the set. He is a tap 3 for 4,000 with powerful attack. He is the Laser Arm Dragon. What he is, he's a double breaker, obviously an Evo, and he's also got powerful attack plus 2,000, making him batting at 6,000 and defending at 4. I got a bunch of mixed opinions about Laser Arm because it seems that anything positive about him, well, that's just
Netflix just turned itself on.
Come here!
Okay, it's off.
Satan.
Anyway, Laser Arm Draco.
Where was I? Oh, yeah. Alright, pretty much anything that is good about Laser Arm, there's also a downside to him. First off, like, you see his level, he's a tap 3. Alright, most people are like, fuck yeah, we can get him out that much earlier, but bad thing is, that means a lot of cheap removal is gonna fucking sting his ass.
Like Bone Blades.
Like Bone Blades.
All the time.
Fucking Ice Blades, even.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, there's even, what is there? There's another one out there.
Return to Soil.
Return to Soil, Tornado Flame.
Yeah, Tornado Flame burns.
There's just a shit ton of any civilization that has removal has at least one card that can get this guy out of the fucking way.
Just about the only thing he's safe from is like Screeching Scaradorable and Heat Seekers.
Yeah, even Scaradorable Gloom Hollow, a fucking also a tap 3 can just block him and
yeah, just ruin your day.
Exactly. And the fact this guy is at a base rate of 4,000, anyone that plays any sort of nature or fuck, even their own fire or light, 4,000 isn't that fucking hard to beat. Alright, I mean, granted he's a double breaker, so cool, and he's cheap, so you're not going to be spending a shit ton of So you're not going to be spending a shit ton of mana to get his ass out there. So it stays true to the fire civilization. But the fact of the matter is, as imposing as he may be, he's still really easy to get rid of. Obviously, he's a necessity for any sort of Evo rush deck.
Any sort of
rush. I mean, he obviously has to go in there, just simply because he's an Evo and he's not awesome, but he's good. Just for that fact, I'm gonna go 4 stars once again, simply because whether you have fire in there or not, you're bound to have Dracons in there, and he's not a bad thing to pop in there. Pretty much the biggest way I found him to make the absolute most use of him is to have Blastforge Slaver in your deck. That extra 2,000 just can save your ass thousands of times over, and just make your opponent really think about whether they want to block him or attempt to smack him one. Alright, so for me, I'll say 4 stars, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear people just give him a standard 3 rating.
I run 3 Laser Arm Dracon in my Fire Natured Rush. I get a lot of work out of him. Turn 3, drop him in, swinging for 2 shields. There's only so many decks that run Scared Orbital of Gloom Hollow. So, I do get stopped by that sometimes, but not a lot. Now, the level-based removal and the fact that he gets hit with Tornado Flame as well, he doesn't last long on the field, honestly. I can't expect him to, because he is a 3-drop, so I can't really expect him to last really long. I've slipped in a couple Essence Elf and a couple Snapclaw to help with the whole power bump, so maybe he can last a bit longer, but overall I'm going to say, even though he does get hit with the cheap removal, there's a shit ton of bait out there for him. You can even evolve him into Blastforge Captain. If he makes it to turn 5, you can drop a Captain on him and get some stuff out of the way, and you're not losing anything. He's already put in some major work. So for that, I'm going to rate Laser Arm Dracon 4 stars as well. I really like the card. I run it. It's a good card, especially for Rush.
Shit. Alright, the next one we have up is a 4-drop with 3,000 attack. He's the Dracon War Chief. Alright, most of you guys know this card. This is the Fire Civilization's mono card. Basically, any guys that don't know what that means, this guy, if all the cards in your mana zone are fire, he gets certain bumps. His happen to be, he gets an additional 2,000 for powerful attacker, and he gets fast attack, making him pretty damn good for a drop 4. That's making him bat just the same as Gilliflame. Huh, how about that? He's tap 4 and he's not as good as Gilliflame, but he's pretty much... He's a downgraded version of Gilliflame.
It's Gilliflame, only he doesn't bounce to your hand and he's weaker defending. So you can keep pressure on the field easier, but he's a little bit easier to take out. He can get dropped with Heat Seekers after you drop him in and do your fast attack thing. So,
well, I was going to rate this guy 5 stars for a monochrome, but then I just realized he pretty much is a downgraded Gilliflame. So, if you're running a monochrome, he's a must. But that's really all I can say. For Dracon War Chief, I'm giving him, once again, 4 stars.
I'm not even going to go that high with Dracon War Chief. I'm going to rate this card 3 stars. It's not acceptable Evo bait for Laser Arm. Yeah, you can use a Blastforge Captain on it, but like I said, it's a 4-drop that gets hit with Heat Seekers. Yes, it does have fast attacker, but so does Gilliflame, and I'd much rather have Gilliflame in my hand than have Dracon War Chief. Plus, you got to be running a mono just to get that little bump, which, you are seeing it, but competitive play, I don't know if we will see Dracon War Chief, really. Out of all of the mono-themed cards that we got with Evo Fury, I'm going to say that Dracon War Chief is, the lowest out of all of those. All the other cards, Wizards of the Coast did a really good job with. But I'm going to have to say, Dracon Warchief, they should have just, I don't know, maybe they should have made it 4 for 4 with Power Attacker 2 or something, because, the Hero Flame is a lot better than this card. So, it's kind of like some of those cards, it's kind of like Gunwing Dragon, we had Bolshak, which was much better. So, I'm just going to give it 3 stars. It's kind of an average card. An average card. You could almost argue 2 stars for it, but I'm going to go ahead and rate it 3. It has its uses. Fast Attacker has won me games, so 3 stars.
Alright, then next up we have the Armored Dragon of Evo. He's 5 for 5, so he's pretty damn decent when it comes to that. He is the Twin Cannon Maelstrom. Alright, well, if you guys can't see, his little effect is he gives all your other creatures, he gives them powerful attack plus 2,000. This is basically the Fire Civ's all-around bump card. Like Palladio, Essence Elf, Finbar?
Yeah, Finbar. But I can honestly say, the only other card that is in the same class with that one as far as the bump goes is Essence Elf. Essence Elf gives 1,000 to everything. Twin Cannon gives 2,000 power attack to everything. So the only other card that's really in that niche as well is Essence Elf.
Right. But I run him. I run 2 of him in my Fire Darkness deck. Funny thing is normally he ends up in mana, but that's simply because I'm either drawing him really early in the game, or really late, and I'm just got a whole bunch of other shit that I'm trying to get to. So this guy doesn't really come in. I've brought him out a couple of times, but so far he hasn't played a significant role in my deck, which is unfortunate because I really like this card. I mean, he's a vanilla, just a standard 5 for 5. But he's giving everything a bump, which is, always awesome.
Yeah, there's no loss on running this card.
Yeah. But, simply because, for some reason, he just doesn't seem to play into my strategy at all, and I have all these other things, you find yourself really hard-pressed between using him or charging him for mana so you can summon these 2 things. I really like the card, and I want to give him 4 stars, but I just don't feel that it would be justified. I'd have to say that for Twin Cannon Maelstrom, I'd give him 3 stars because you could run him and you can do good, but you can not run him and do just as good.
I can definitely see that the argument for a 3-star rating is, there, but I'm actually going to rate Twin Cannon Maelstrom as 4 stars. It's 5 for 5, so there's no drawback. It works well with an aggro deck. It can work well with control, especially. It can work really well with control because those little monsters such as Seneschal and Gigastan that feed your hand and discard your opponents. Those are swinging with a lot more force now, so they're not getting chumped or they're not getting blocked and trading near as much. So it has its finer point there, and plus it's a 5-drop armored dragon. It's the one of the cheapest armored dragons other than Hyperspeed to get in and then try to evolve Evo Fury's hats on. So I'm gonna have to say 4 stars. I mean, you got no drawback. It's acceptable bait for a really powerful creature, and it gives a bump to everybody with pretty much no cost because we've got 5 for 5 vanillas in the Fire Civ, so with 5 for 5 and getting a bump, I'd say that's pretty good. So 4 stars, Twin Cannon Maelstrom for me.
Alright. And next up, we have another Evo of the Fire Civilization. He is the Big Hissy. He is a 5 for 6 evolution. Obviously, evolution. He's a double breaker, and just like Little Hissy, he can attack untapped creatures. Just because of that gives him some superior control elements in a rush deck, which is normally a really good thing. That allows you to get rid of their heavy hitters with your heavy hitters, so you ain't got to worry about swinging for a shield, and then your big hitter getting punked the turn after immediately. But for Big Hissy, I really like him. Granted, I don't run him in my deck. First off, we only have one, and oh, do we really have three?
We've got quite a few.
Well, my deck's focused on Dracons, just simply because I like the Blast Forge bump card. That's just normally I'll find a race and I'll just, you know, focus my entire deck around that one type of card. But Big Hissy, granted I don't run him. I've ran against him before, and he is very effective against any sort of deck. Just for that, I would definitely give Big Hissy an absolute 4-star rating.
I'm gonna rate Big Hissy as 4 stars as well. You know, the 5 for 6 as an Evo is a little low, not a lot, but a little low. Double breaker is always useful, And then there's 20-ton Wrecking Ball, you know, the untapped creature thing, which, as the Chaos said, excellent control elements to a Evo deck. You can use him to get the blocker out of the way to swing with, you know, something smaller. You know, it gives you a good way to defend your smaller rush style creatures. I did run Big Hissy in my deck, and I actually took him out in favor of other cards. And the main reason that I took this card out, which I'm sure will change in the next few sets, is because it is really hard to get a acceptable Dune Gecko Evo bait. Yeah, he's a 5-drop, so you have 4 turns to get bait in there. But with Badlands Lizard, you know, you're forced to attack, and he's vulnerable to both. Badlands Lizard, if you don't know, is a 2-drop for 2,000 plus 1,000 power attacker, and it has to attack every turn. So light blockers can take him out, you know, 2 for... you know, the normal light is 2 for 3,000. So light blockers take that card out. Water blockers do the same. So Badlands Lizard isn't really good bait. What is that one we just looked at?
Lava Leap.
No, Jet Thrust Darter.
Oh.
That's not really good Evo bait. Goes in on turn 3, swings, your opponent kills it on their turn 3. Or, you know, at the start of turn 4. So that's not really good Evo bait. Lava Leaper, as I said before, blocked and destroyed by anything. That's not really good bait. So the problem with this card, the reason I'm giving it 4 stars rather than 5, is just because the bait, the long-lasting bait, is not there for it. And since it's a 5-drop, most rush decks are wanting to get in their bait on turns 1, 2, and 3, and then play the Evos 4 and 5, and, you know, maybe even 6. But for that reason, there's not really good bait out for Big Hissy yet. I'm going to rate 4 stars, soon to be 5.
And then after that, we have the final Evo for the Fire Civilization. He is known as Blast Forge Captain. He is 5 for 4,000. He's not a double breaker, unlike a lot of things, but he has a very interesting effect. It's called Cauterize, and what it does is whenever Blast Forge attacks, you can banish creatures up to 4,000 attack. That's cumulative. Like, get rid of fucking Gigastand and Gigazonda, or get rid of Skeeter Swarmer, or, you know, get rid of 3 fucking Jet Flame Bodyguards and a Jet Thrust.
Yeah,
or, damn it, not Jet Flame, but, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
you guys know.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just tired. But, Blast Forge, normally he doesn't get to come out very often, mainly because I'm running 2 of him, and then I'm running 3 Hydra Medusa and 3, you know, Laser Arm and all this other fun stuff. So, however, if I get him in my hand and I find myself needing to do a really good field wipe, and a situation presents itself, I'll pop him out there and he'll do his job fucking marvelously.
Tons of work.
Like, it's just amazing how much of a tight situation this one card can get your ass out of. Like, not only are you breaking his shield, but you have the ability to destroy 3 monsters at the exact same fucking time.
Yeah. And 3, I mean, isn't even going to the max. You could wipe 4 if, you know, they're playing You know, a blurple deck, you can wipe out a Rusalka, a Soldier, a Skull Cutter, and, you know, something else small.
But basically, this guy, when it comes to destruction, no one does it better than him. That's for damn sure. But Blastforge Captain, without a question in my mind, granted it sucks that his power is only 4,000, so there's a good amount of stuff that can swing over him. But his main job is basically just to get a really quick field swipe in one turn, and then he can die happily. But Blastforge Captain, to me, I definitely give him probably my only 5-star rating out of the Evo set for the Fire Civilization.
Oh. This card puts in so much work. It's crazy good. Blastforge Captain, 5 stars all the way. And yeah, I'm gonna level with you guys for a minute. This card, I mean, it's not quite as aggro effective, whereas Hydra Medusa is. Hydra Medusa drops in and gets rid of Earth Stomp, Evo Tats, anything, no questions asked. This guy has a level limit to work under, but in a Rush Mirror, in Control, puts in tons and tons of work. It's a barrage on wheels. He plays this card against me, and, you know, whenever he drops a laser arm or whenever he drops a Hydra Medusa, I remember that play at the end of the match or at the end of the duel. But if he drops Blastforge Captain on me, he's normally taking out 2 or 3 creatures minimum, and I can honestly say this card almost gives me nightmares to play against. We only have 2 of them between the both of us, and he runs both of them. And, you know, whenever I get some more Evo Fury and whenever I get him in, I'm going to slip this guy in. I'm going to get rid of one of my laser arms and something else and put in Blastforge Captain. This card is crazy good. Just shenanigans everywhere. It's good in rush decks. It's good. It has a place in aggro. It has a place in control. Just puts in a lot of work, and it can be played in any deck. And not to mention, there is so much Evo bait out there for a turn 5 Evo. I mean, Dracons everywhere. You can run Slaver and get the bump. There's just a lot of good options with this card. 5 stars all the way. Shenanigans. Crazy. Crazy good.
Alright, and the next card is the final monster that we have for the Evo Fury. Obviously, except for Evo Tats. But, yeah, you forgot
I didn't get Evo Tats out of the binder.
He's too pretty to be held. The oil on our fingers will corrupt him.
Anyways.
Well, while he's digging. Alright, this guy is called Gunwing Dragon. He's a 6-for-6 double breaker. Pretty much take Bullshack Dragon and knock off all the pretty shit. There's not really anything I can say. The guy's basically vanilla, except for the fact he's a double breaker. I mean, if you really want to get Evo Tats out, then you'll probably max out your deck with this guy. But honestly, why would you base your final hope in your deck, or your only hope in your deck, upon Evo Fury? That's 3 cards. Granted, he's batting for 12, but guess what? There are 3 Death Smokes, there are 3 Terror Pits, there are 3 this, 3 that can just gone. So, I mean, what can Gunwing do that Bullshack can't do better? For that, Gunwing is a 3-star card at best, simply because people can use him. I don't know why you would if you can have Bullshack, but nah, fuck it, 2 stars. Just because, why would you use him when you can use Bullshack? I mean, it's that simple.
Gunwing Dragon, Armored Dragon, 6,000. He's underpowered. There's no, you know, nice bump ability like what Bullshack's got, so it's, you know, not great there. I mean, this card just lacks in a lot of areas. I'm going to have to give it 2 stars as well. It's not even what I would call, I mean, it is Evo bait for Evo Fury Tats. It is, you know, 6, you can drop in Gunwing and then you can evolve. But why run Gunwing? Everybody and their mother has, you know, tons and tons of Bullshacks because we've all bought so many boxes of Rise trying to pull the super rares. So, Maybe in sealed Gunwing Dragon saw some play, but in constructed, we've already got a better card out there. There's other 6-drop armored dragons that give better effects until you can evolve, so he's not good Evo bait. It's just... I understand why they did it. You know, Bolshaks are rare. This is an uncommon, so Bolshak should get a little more. But, I mean, Gunwing Dragon he's lacking. He's lacking. So 2 stars from me as well.
And then, as I was saying before, Evo Fury Tats. Evo 7 for 12,000. So far the heaviest hitter I've seen in Kaijudo.
It's the biggest one.
Period. And he's a triple breaker. So, yeah. Blastforge Captain does shenanigans. He does shenanigans times 2. Alright, honestly, there isn't really jack shit you could say. It's a 5-star card, hands down. Anyone that says anything different, your opinion is respected, but no one really gives a fuck. I mean, running a Tap 7 Evo is probably going to be a very difficult thing to pop out, especially because it's based on armored dragons. Unless you're running a fire, nature, water, I would have to include water, because otherwise you're not going to have any controllability. But I think that'd be the only time you'd have Evo Fury in, and even then you'd probably only be able to hold 2 of him to be able to do your damn job right. Granted, fire, nature, water is probably the one deck that you're going to need more than 40 cards to be able to pull off, you know, right? But, anyone that says Evo Fury is useless, obviously you guys are on something. But, this is his channel, not mine. I can talk as much smack as I want. But, bottom line, in all seriousness, Evo Fury Tats is a 5-star card. If he's not, then nothing is.
I think I'm going to get slapped on this one, because apparently the Chaos really loves this card. Evo Fury Tats, I'm only going to give 4 stars to. Don't get me wrong, it's 12,000. It's a giant beat stick that can be taken care of with a 3-drop Slayer. So, I mean, yes, it is a giant beat stick. The effect going in, when it enters the battle zone, target enemy creature can't attack or block until the start of your next turn. So, I mean, you fucking gridlock something. I mean, if you drop this on a Grand Gear, or if they've got some double breakers ready to swing, you know, that creates problems. So, I mean, it is very effective. The only reason that I'm giving this card 4 stars rather than 5 is because, as the Chaos said, there's only a certain meta that this card is going to be really effective. It's going to have to be fire, water. You can run it as a dual civ, or it's going to be fire, water, X. Because, you know, there's only 2 5-drop armored dragons that I'm aware of, and that's as cheap as they come. You know, you've got Hyperspeed and you've got Twin Cannon Maelstrom. Those are the cheapest Evo bait for this guy that I know of. Granted, they do work while they're out there, but I mean, if you're running, you know, 4 or 5 of those cards, you're getting up there in high-cost critters already, because you've got some other stuff you're going to want in there as well. There's just a lot of things that have to work out perfectly for this card. You have to get your 5-drop or 6-drop Evo bait. You have to get the Evo Fury Tats. And there's just so many question marks on pulling what you need that you have to run it with Crystal Memory at least. And, you know, water's great, search is great. You may be able to use some nature search and pull it off. You know, Gigahorn. But overall, I'm just going to say Evo Fury Tats is 4 stars. There's a lot of work that you got to do to get this guy out. He's not like Tekimura. And he's a huge beat stick, but you can kill a beat stick with 1,000,001 spells. You know, Medusa, Terror Pit, Root Trap, any Slayer. You know, whenever Dragon Strike comes out, I wouldn't be surprised to see a spell card from Darkness that allows you to turn any creature into a Slayer for 1 turn. So that's just another answer to it. And all in all, I mean, even if they have 2 blockers on the field, you know, you can lock down one, but you're still going to get chump blocked by the other. And on turn 7, you know, swinging for 3 shields is great, but hopefully you've done some work up till then. So, I mean, it's a great card, phenomenal, big power, but its playability is a little bit lacking. We need some better armored dragons out there. So I'm going to say Evo Fury Tats, 4 stars.
And with that, we're down to the final card, which happens to be a spell. This is the Tap 3, we all know as Heat Seekers. It's basically Rock Bite that isn't a shield trigger. And I found a lot more use out of this guy than I have the Rock Bite version. But it's just a Tap 3, banish 1 target creature that's 3,000 or less power. It's very easy to use card. It's only Tap 3, and by 3rd turn, there's going to be something free to hit. If you can't summon a monster, this card will be played. Just for that, 4 stars.
Heat Seekers, 5-star staple for me. I am trying to find room to slip this into my Rush deck, but frankly, I don't want to throw off my Fire-Nature ratio anymore, and, you know, I don't know what I can get rid of in Fire, and I'm not running a 42-card Rush. So, I mean, this card puts in, tons and tons of work. It fits in any deck strategy, whether you're running Control, Aggro, or Rush, or something I haven't heard of. You know, there's a lot of metas where it can go into. It gets rid of Scared Orbital, Gloom Hollow. It gets rid of tons and tons of annoying cards. It gets rid of Evo Bait. There's just a million and one uses for this card. You're not gonna find a deck that this card would not be used in or against. So for the gotta have staple in pretty much any deck, I'm giving this card 5 stars. I love it. It's really good. Tons and tons of work. Total playability. More playability than Evo Fury Tats, I have to say.
Whoops.
But that is our review for the Fire Civ of Evo Fury. You guys need to subscribe. Check out the Light, Water, and Dark reviews. We're going to be doing Nature up next, and then I think it's time for us to go to bed. But we will try and get the Nature done tonight so we can get it up for you guys to watch. Until then, you know, keep playing. Peace out.
Take care, guys.
See ya.